You are listening to Let's Talk Trio on podcasts. Keep up with the latest episodes by downloading the Podbean app or stream episodes via our social media accounts. Search for Let's Talk Trio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This podcast episode is brought to you by Lonsdale Publishing. Is your program seeking ways to assess your students' college readiness? Does your program need a tool to document the effectiveness of your program? Lonsdale Publishing is excited to offer the Strategic Learning Assessment, a 20-minute online assessment that provides recommendations and strategies to improve academic performance across 11 learning areas: communication, critical thinking, effective learning strategies, focus and concentration, growth mindset, persistence, seeking help, sense of belonging, stress management, test preparation, and time management. For as little as $3 per student, the Strategic Learning Assessment identifies strengths and areas for growth, along with tailored recommendations for each learning area. Want a complimentary sample account for yourself and 5 students? Contact Lonsdale Publishing at 727-389-8026. Again, that number is 727-389-8026. Or visit our website for more information at www.lonsdale.com. That website again is www.lonsdale.com. Lonsdale Publishing, your partner in student success. This episode is sponsored by Student Access. Student Access, the leader in Trio software. Student Access is an online database solution that allows Trio programs to track their students' information, connect with students by text messages, streamline the APR, and work from anywhere, all online, with automatic updates for changes from the Department of Education. Their technical support team includes former Trio staff and has over 50 years of combined experience working with Trio. Make it easier to focus on your priority, the students. For more information and to request a free demo, visit their website at www.studentaccess.com or call them toll-free at 1-800-801-1232. That website again is www.studentaccess.com or 1-800-801-1232. Be sure to share your favorite episodes on your social media by tapping that share button. This is a great way to support the podcast. Now here's your host, Juan Rivas.
Thank you, Amelia, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, listener, and welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Trio. This is Season 7, Episode 16. I am your host, Juan Rivas. Before we begin, some community announcements. Trio Nation, be sure to call your congressional representatives to defend the Trio programs. The Trump administration is seeking to eliminate the Trio programs in their most recent proposed budget. Take action now by spreading the word and contacting your congressional representatives. Let them know that Trio works. In today's episode, we have Chelsey Toms, academic advisor for the Trio Upward Bound program at Davis and Elkins College in West Virginia. Chelsey is on the podcast to share her own life experience, educational journey, and being a Trio alumni. So coming up in just a bit, Chelsey Toms. A heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Villalpando, Rosario O'Reilly, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Jeff Naputi, Angelica Valdez, Felicia Rivera, Eric Lamaster, Jeff Calden, and Jaded Electronics. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, Nosotros Education Center, Lonsdale Publishing, Student Access, and thetriostore.com, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for trio graduation stoles. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can be a sponsor of the podcast. Head on over to Patreon and search for Let's Talk Trio. Choose one of 4 patron levels. You can support this podcast for as little as $1 a month. If you own a business that serves the Trio community and want to sponsor the podcast, we have different sponsorship packages available. Contact us for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast business PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. Your support helps lift Trio voices. If you would like to nominate a participant, staff, or alumni to be on the podcast, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. Again, a great episode featuring Chelsey Toms, academic advisor for the Trio Upward Bound program at Davis and Elkins College and Trio Alumna. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Hi, Trio Nation. My guest on the Let's Talk Trio podcast is an academic advisor for the Trio Upward Bound program at Davis and Elkins College. She also serves as the president-elect for the Mid-Eastern Association of Educational Opportunity Programs personnel. She obtained her bachelor's in English and master's in marketing from West Virginia University. When she is not busy with work, my guest enjoys traveling and spending time with family. Welcome to the podcast, Chelsey Toms.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be part of this.
We are excited to have you, Chelsey. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this podcast.
You're welcome.
How are things in West Virginia?
So it's been really hot this week. It's been a balance of like really hot weather and then a lot of rain, but it's going well. So yeah, always have to, it's nice to kind of go to the mountains, take in the scenery. But yeah,
I imagine that in West Virginia, I imagine that in West Virginia, it's like a humidity hot, right? Like you all have the humidity out there?
We do, yeah. And especially we had a lot of rain this past week, so it's been really hot and then it rains and then it's even more humid. So
can you tell me? Yeah, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your hobby or your interest? You like to travel. Now, for the audience, Chelsey and I are connected through social media, so I see the various amounts of travels that you do. Can you tell me, like, was that something that caught your interest, or is that something that you were like born with to really travel? Can you talk to us about that interest?
Yeah, so I like to travel. I haven't for a few years, but I like to go abroad when I can. It kind of started out, my first few trips abroad were kind of just with friends and then more personal trips. And then I had the opportunity to travel to Israel, Palestine with my college I work for, wow. Davis and Elkins College. So we led a group of students, and that really kind of sparked my interest and kind of the passion for that area and the people. So that I've been able to kind of join up with a local pastor and kind of take trips since then. So it's been a good experience. I've met different people, other cultures, and I've also been able to get my mom to start traveling with me. So
that's so cool.
So just considering the political environment, we haven't been for a while, but fingers crossed we'll be back one day. So
that's wonderful. Yes. Could you tell me what is an area or country you visited that was really captivated you or you really liked?
So I had the chance to go to Ireland a few years ago, and then I'm really captivated about like the Middle East. So like a lot of time that I do spend in like Israel, Jerusalem, it's just there's so much to take in, so many different cultures. So it's kind of, I always say if I had the chance to move somewhere, that's where I would go. So
that's awesome. What is something that you learned about yourself this year?
I think something this year has been, I'm good at kind of just balance, maybe bringing peace to situations, if that makes sense. It's been a lot this year I have 2 roles at my college. I work with Upward Bound with Trio. I also work in Res Life. So we had a lot of shifting and challenges this year in both roles. And I have just working with my students and my residents, just being able to provide them like security and just a balance and just maybe a calmness, I guess, of helping them see things through and that everything will work out.
Wow, that's amazing. What do you hope to accomplish in 2025?
So personally, I think just reassurance in my own self-confidence.
Hmm.
This has been a challenging year for Trio.
Hmm.
We're still in. I mean, even today has been challenging. So I think just confidence in myself and I'm going to do well. I'm about to step into my president role for my region.
Yeah,
Um,
congratulations.
thank you. So I think it's just confidence in myself and I'm doing what it takes to lead our region. But also more importantly, just providing them with the information that I know that will help their programs and their students kind of be successful or to make sure they're heard or just finding that reassurance right now.
Absolutely. So earlier you were talking about a lot of stressful factors that are affecting Trio, your role, and a lot of the things. So I'm wondering, what do you do to decompress from all those things, plus having a busy week, plus being an advisor and also in resident life? Yeah, like how do you decompress from all that?
Um, so I think I mean, I'm much older than my students, but I kind of live a life like a college student. I actually
Mhm.
live in the residence hall
Oh,
that I
really?
work at for Res Life, yes. So oddly enough, I kind of relax by being with the students. So if I'm not doing work or doing something for um either role, I just kind of hang out with the students. So I like to have fun with them. I like to engage with what they're doing. So that's kind of helps me relax, but also just keeps me grounded in what I'm doing too. So,
Absolutely. We are in the middle of this summer. What are you planning this summer, or does the Upward Bound program keep you too busy to plan for anything in the summer?
um, so we are in probably we have 2 weeks left for our younger students in Upward Bound.
Uh-huh.
And we also have our college prep program, Bridge. We have 2 weeks left. So I have about 2 weeks in there before the academic year. So I'm probably just gonna stay with my family, just kind of hang out local, visit my parents, just kind of just stay here.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Are you seeking guidance to enhance your TRIO project's effectiveness and success? Look no further. Nosotros Education Center, NEC, is here to empower your TRIO project with expert consulting services. NEC's mission is to promote the effectiveness and impact of TRIO programs. Since 2003, NEC has specialized in providing professional development and in-service staff trainings, allowable cost services, for TRIO projects across the country. The team at NEC, with over 60 years of combined TRIO experience, offers customized workshops and seminars for project staff, compliance assessments, external evaluations, working on and submitting APRs, database customization and training, development of policies and procedures manuals, and project implementation or reorganization services. Additionally, NEC has secured over $774 million in federal funding with a 92% success rate through their live and on-demand proposal workshops, assistance with data collection and review, detailed technical reviews, and comprehensive proposal development services. Join the hundreds of colleges, agencies, and TRIO projects across the country who benefited from NEC's expertise. Nosotros Education Center, your partner in TRIO's project success. Visit their website at nosotros.edu.org. Again, that's nosotrosedu.org.
And now, back to the podcast. I'm going to rewind the clocks a bit, Chelsey, so we can reflect about like your upbringing and how all of that was for you. Can you talk about your upbringing? What was that like?
Okay, yeah. So I um currently live in Elkins, which is probably about 20 minutes from where I grew up. So I grew up in Huntsville, West Virginia. Went to a really small high school. I
Mhm.
think graduated with probably 55 students or less.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I raised with one sister and my parents. I'm still very close with my parents. But just had a really good great childhood. Spent a lot of time. My mom worked. She just retired recently, but my mom worked for a nonprofit, so I always went to work with her and just grew up in like a family of service, giving back to others. Really community involved, family involved.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think I learned from a young age of like giving back to others and just seeing a need. And I think just trying to help people where I can. So spend a lot of time outdoors, of course. Playing in the dirt, the usual stuff. Kind of representing West Virginia, I had two or three, actually three pet pigs growing up that lived in my house, slept in my bed. My parents continued to raise them after I went to college.
Hmm.
So
Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So kind of your true Appalachian, maybe not stereotype, but it's kind of the West Virginia thing. So yeah, so I had, I guess, a normal upbringing, very involved with my family. So
How would
very
your
supportive.
family? Oh, that's so
Okay.
cool. That's to have a supportive family is amazing, and that's awesome. But how would your family describe you? Like, look outside looking in, how would they describe you?
Um, I think probably my dad would say I'm crazy. I think it's just because I'm a constant, I mean, I'm always on the go. I have his sense of humor. I'm pretty quiet until you get to know me, and then I like to joke around. I think I'm more I'm more familiar with my mom and like our passion to help others, our drive. I think my mom would say I think I carry a lot, so I carry a lot in wanting to help others, and then when I can't help it or see something through for others, I kind of take it
Hmm.
personally.
Hmm.
So I I think I just have a big heart. She would probably say I have a big heart and I try to do well and mean well with good intention. But I think so. I think they would also say I don't know how to relax sometimes. Yes, just to take a
It,
breather, calm down. So
is that more of like your personality that's just who you are, or is that like a family trait that was like that's just who everybody is, or you feel
I,
like you maybe got that from a family member?
I definitely got it from my mom. My mom's always on the go, always in a project, always leading something. Yeah, so she's only been retired for like a year and she still is part of community events,
Oh
volunteers,
wow.
helps out. So I definitely got that trait from my mom. My dad is more relaxed, more go with the flow. So
Ah, I see. And I feel like so then you're very much to me and just again just kind of by meeting you and as we were talking about how to schedule this thing,
yeah.
you're very much a people person. You gravitate toward uh, just being social and connecting with folks. Do you feel like that's carried you not only through your upbringing but into your professional life as well?
It has. Yeah, I mean, I've had to, I think beginning my career in Upward Bound, one, it helped me become more comfortable with connecting with like a younger students, younger than me. And then developing my confidence more in a professional role as I began to kind of interact more with kind of some of the upper staff here at D&E, so like our president, our dean of students, my current director, just kind of being confident in what I want to do and how I speak with them, and then seeing their assurance in what I do. So, but I am a very, it doesn't seem like it, I'm quiet, but I am a very social person. Yeah,
Oh wow,
I
okay.
don't I don't do well without company for a while, so I like to interact with people.
I would have never guessed that. I think uh when you said I that you're typically a quiet person,
Yeah.
I wouldn't see that, and I see you like a very much as a connector, as a person that brings people together.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm more outspoken when it's like groups of people or my students.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But maybe in more professional settings, I'm quiet. I like to take things in, observe. Um, but I think I'm maybe a mix of both. So,
Yeah. Right on. Can you talk about your earliest memory of either elementary or middle school, and can you talk about kind of your experiences in that?
um, so my high school I went to was a combination of it was 7th through 12th grade.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it was the same high school my parents went to,
Hmm.
even my grandparents. So I mean, I don't have one particular experience, but we just had, I mean, it was a great experience. Everyone felt like family. If you weren't friends with them, you were related to them, very close, very supportive, teachers, very supportive community. I actually have the high school I graduated from. It's one of the schools I actually service, with Upward Bound currently. So, yeah, so it means a lot that I get to go back and serve those students and still feel like I'm giving back to the community that kind of helped me when I was in their position. So, and a lot of even a few of my teachers when I was in high school, they're still currently there. So it's good to kind of
Wow.
see them and reconnect and just to kind of see them still being part of education and doing what they believe in too. So,
I know it's not part of the script that we have, but I wanted to ask you, was there a favorite subject or a topic that you really like to talk about in school or learn about?
um, so I'm more of your kind of like English person. I liked English. I like to read. Sometimes I like to write, but more just like English.
Wow, awesome. Did you develop any interests outside of academics? So like music, theater, or sports?
No, I was truly academic. I do have one experience. I think I tried to try out for the band at my school, and not the band, I was going to twirl the flag. I don't know what
Uh,
that's called. Yeah,
I think
but
it's color guard, right?
yes. And I didn't even make it through the first like hour of tryout. So yeah, no, I'm not coordinated for that kind of stuff. I'm strictly academic. So,
Talk about your high school experience because you were alluding to a little bit already that 7th through 12th grade was kind of all one mesh thing together. What was that like?
um, it was fun. So a lot of I mean, it let me, you intermingled through the hallways with like, so I got to see my sister who's 2 years older than me. So we would pass each other in the hallways. So you kind of felt there wasn't like a barrier between the different grades. It was kind of fun. We had a really old high school without AC at the time. So you sweat a lot going up the steps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a fun experience. I think when you go to a small high school in a small community, it's kind of family. You just connect, and I'm still connected to a lot of people that I went to high school with. So,
Okay. Was there a particular highlight in high school, like you really glad you did this, or was there something in high school that you were like really proud of?
um, so I think in high school I was more, I mean, I had my friend group and we all kind of connected, but I think just my ability to kind of just be myself because I was really quiet in high school.
Mhm, mhm.
Stay to myself, but I never really let it get to me, I guess. I just still did my thing. I don't have one particular moment. I mean, I think it just overall high school was fun. It just yeah, I didn't really I feel like well, and I was fortunate I was involved in talent search, so a trio talent search. When I doing that in ninth grade. So that
Mm,
really helped
mm.
me like open that began my love for like Upward Bound Trio and helped me kind of explore more of my desire to go to college and college tours. So
Oh, I
that
was
is
just
one
about
thing.
to ask. Yeah, I was
Okay.
just about to ask you about the trio because like uh, they picked you up pretty early on, it sounds like Town Search picked you up it sounds like beginning of your ninth grade year or a little bit later on.
So I actually joined talent search when I was in ninth grade. So then ninth through 12th grade. Um, so we did a lot of like with talent search, of course, it's not as intense as Upward Bound. So I had my advisor, her name was Judy Booker. I still am in touch with her to this day.
Wow.
Come and meet with us once a month and kind of do our academic and career advising and talk about college. And yeah, that is a big highlight actually. Because she kind of guided us through and just really connected and helped me to kind of see my vision for college and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So also kind of helped me see I wanted to leave. It was okay to want to leave my small community to go to
Mm.
college. So
Hmm. Before joining Talent Search, did you have like an idea of what did you want to go to college? Was college even in the plans for you?
it was, yeah, I always knew, yeah, even I think I always had a dream to be a lawyer. So even when I was young, I would tell my mom I want to be a lawyer. I was going to college. So it was always, I just always knew it was something I wanted to do. It was always a goal.
Hmm.
So,
Who did you speak with too often about this college goal of yours?
um, definitely, I mean, my parents were always supportive. I think when it got down to, I got into like 10th grade and 11th grade and it was becoming a reality. It definitely was my talent search counselor of just helping me navigate the application process. Figuring out a major, especially looking at the financial part of it too, of what was possible. So
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
parents supported me, and but the whole expense of college was up to me. So my talent search counselor really helped me look at the FAFSA and understand student loans and understand where my money was coming from, and kind of really helped me understand that it was possible. So yeah, she played a big role in that. But also my parents were believing that it's something that would work out, and they always, yeah, said they would do whatever it would take to help support me, and they did, and they still do. So
That's awesome. Do you remember, like, in what areas did talent search really specifically help you plan or guide you to the path of college? Because for a lot of first generation students, that path is very unclear on how to even get to college, right?
yeah, so I think more for me it was just kind of that extra. I was very independent in like my college application. Even with the FAFSA, my mom gave me her information. But I still sat, and that was when we had the paper version.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so I still sat with her and did that. So I was very independent and determined to get those pieces done.
Hmm.
But I think it was still just that reassurance from my talent search counselor of like if I had a question, she would answer or look over things, or even my parents when they had something they weren't familiar with, just going to her and she would help me overlook that. So
Talk to us about the moment you graduated high school. What was that moment like for you, and what did that mean for you and your family?
um so that was it meant a lot because I had a very small but very close group of friends that I graduated with. So we were very connected. It was actually now I'm thinking about the last day of high school. We literally all sat together and like yeah, the emotion that day.
Yeah.
So it was a big accomplishment. Like I felt proud. My whole family was there. I do remember my grandpa at the time. He was close to 90, but he attended my graduation. So yeah, I think it was just good to see my family there, and something I had accomplished and being that stepping stone to my next goal. So
Once you graduated from high school, you decided to attend Davis and Elkins College. So I have a very very specific question to this because from a lot of first generation students, it's like I'll try to go to the closest college I see or the one that like really more caters to what I need. Why did you choose this college, and were there any other colleges in consideration for you?
I actually went to WVU.
Sorry.
Huh? So I actually went to, do you need me to rephrase how I answered or?
Yes. So you decided to attend West Virginia University. Why that college versus any others?
So I chose WVU, West Virginia University, because I still had the passion to attend law school and become an attorney. So they had
Mhm.
a really good law school. And I think at the time too, I always felt I wanted to prove to myself that I could attend like a good university, which to me was like the one for the state. So WVU. And I think just coming from a small town, it was just the challenge if I could make it. I could fit in
Yeah.
in a big town, find my way. I wasn't going to be, I guess, to prove to myself I wouldn't be the stereotype to come back home to the close college. So,
That's awesome. And there were no other colleges in consideration. Were you thinking about any other colleges in that area or locally?
no, it was always WVU. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
Um, Once you got accepted, can you talk to us about the moment you set foot to that campus? What did that moment mean to you? And yeah, walk us through some highlights.
Okay. Yeah. So I first, well, I think I kind of felt overwhelmed because it's when you move in, it's a big campus and there's no parking. It's very hot. Um, so I think the first day I got there, it was very overwhelming. My parents were overwhelmed. I think there was moments of like, I don't want to do this,
Hmm.
but it also felt surreal to kind of be there, to kind of be like, okay, this is my college, my opportunity. This is the next phase of my life.
Hmm.
So it was, I think, and it was my birthday weekend as well.
Really?
Yeah, so I remember being 17 for a day or two, as a
Hmm.
freshman and then turning 18.
Hmm.
So it was, I mean, I still remember the day. So it was a big moment for me of a huge achievement. And I think even more because I had a high school teacher that would always joke and say, "You're not gonna make it, you're gonna fail out and be back home."
Oh no.
So I think just to kind of be there and to prove to myself that I actually was there meant a lot. So
That's awesome. So you were, as you said, you were really proving this to not only to yourself, but to people around you that you could do it. But
yeah.
I often wonder how many students do it out of spite when somebody says you can't do it, and you're like, just out of spite, I'm gonna do it.
Uh, I mean, maybe I think there was a hidden spite in there. I really like, I don't know. I kind of, it felt like home. I found my groove
So
really
great.
fast. I found my group of people, connected with my major really fast. So I was fortunate to find my place.
That's wonderful.
So,
So can you talk about that major? Like, what drew you to major in the program that you did? Yeah, talk about your major and talk about like what drew you to it.
okay. So I started out as a political science major,
Hmm. Hmm.
to follow a goal and passion and want to go to law school. And then I had my first few classes in that, and that was not for me. Yeah, so I was a bunch of, I think, economic or kind of world politics and things I didn't understand. And um, I had a British literature class that I really enjoyed. So that kind of frees me back to getting an English degree and my passion for kind of literature and especially British literature.
Hmm.
So that's kind of began my passion for English. So,
Did
and then I
so
got really, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Good. Go ahead.
I just got really connected to my professors and just the small community that I built in that major.
So hearing you say that, you went from this pursuit of being a lawyer, you went into political science, you took
Mhm.
this British literature class, and everything changed. Um, did you see a potential here? Like what was the what did a new passion spring about? Like how did you make that change? Because for a lot of first gens, it's like they realize that the career they were pursuing initially probably wasn't it for them, and they change. So what was it for you?
So at the time I changed my freshman year. So I still had the long-term goal of law school. I just
Hmm.
knew
Hmm.
political science wasn't it. So I I think and I was kind of went to English as well because I enjoyed literature, but that was also a common major that people would recommend to get into law school.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of chose English as one, I enjoyed it, but two, keeping in mind that that was going to be a route, a common major to get to law school. So, so initially it began with the goal of using it to when I would apply. But then I just really enjoyed the literature side of it as well.
So what I'm hearing you say is then that the English degree itself was still very much relevant to where you wanted to hopefully end up as a lawyer, but you
Yes.
didn't have to necessarily get political science. You could just switch into something that would eventually lead to become a lawyer. That is amazing. Like that switch to understand that. Like not a lot of first gen students would immediately know that.
I think that's where my independence and kind of like self just I guess determined to just figure it out and make it. And I ask a lot of questions. So yeah, so I took advantage of meeting with my advisors, and I was also part of student support services in college at WVU. So I got very connected to my counselor. Um, and yeah, they made the difference for me because they helped me understand the majors and what was expected and how to change my major. So I give all the credit to my upward bound counselors, or not upward bound, sorry, support services, because they were definitely my family away from home and kind of guided me through that whole process.
That's awesome. And I know we'll talk more about your experience in Trio SSS, but I have a few more questions for you
Okay.
regarding your college experience. What did your college experience teach you while being in college, while being a college student?
Um, I think it taught me that I can do hard things. I could do hard things, and hard things are not bad. I think it taught me, I think, perseverance and not to give up. Because I mean, I always had to work full time. I would go to college during the week, had a job in Morgantown, still came home on the weekends, had a
Hmm.
little job at a shoe store. So I was responsible for paying some of my bills and my car.
Hmm.
And it was
Hmm.
always easy, but it taught me a lot of, I guess, sacrifice. And um, I think it it helped me to appreciate a lot of things too. So um, I think college taught me to also kind of a genuine respect for what my parents do and did for me. Because I know they couldn't always support me financially, but they were still doing everything else in the background. So yeah, so college taught me a lot. It also taught me that I had to let a few friends go. It was sometimes your crowd changes, and it's important
Yeah.
to kind of find yourself and stick to your character. And yeah, I really learned a lot about myself. And that it helped me to learn too that I had to learn to speak up for myself, speak up for things that I wanted to do. So yeah, it really taught me a lot actually.
Yeah. It sounds like college challenged you holistically as a person, but it
It
helped
did.
you grow in various areas.
Yes.
Wow. Um, when you learned about Trio Student Support Services at WVU, when did that happen for you?
So that actually was being part of talent search in high school. My counselor just told me about student support services, gave me the application, walked me through their application. So it was kind of a here's this program, it's the next step. This is going to be your support system in college. And it wasn't even are you going to apply? It was you're fill this out, you're going to get
Yeah.
connected. Yeah, so that's when I first heard of that.
Wow. So it was like a nice little warm handoff from like one
It,
uh, Trio program to the next.
it was, yes, very much
Wow.
so. Very fortunate for that handoff because it made all the difference. So
And we're going to talk about that because what did you enjoy most about being a participant in the Trio SSS program at WVU?
Um, I think just knowing that it was okay not to know what I was doing. And I say that because I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of kind of just trying to assure myself of like I could figure out the answer, but it
Hmm.
was but I had a group of people there and that's their whole goal was to help me figure out the answer. That's what they were there for. They were there to show me, even though I was first in, I came from a small community. I was in this whole new environment that I still belonged, but that they were there for me. So even though they serviced many students, they made me feel like I was their number one student when I was there. And it made all the difference. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, so I'm still connected with my counselor at the time until when you say trios family, like that's definitely true.
I've
So
always heard in Trio circles, and this is when I was a Trio alum and then a Trio staff member, that even though you might move on and go on to a different position, you never truly leave Trio. Like even as an alum or returning as a staff member, you never truly leave Trio, which I always find amazing.
yes.
Um, in your experience with the Trio Student Support Services program, so if Talent Search was the pre-college help you get ready for college, how would you describe Student Support Services as a program in college?
Um, for me, it would kind of be my safe space. So they were my safe space, my holding ground, I guess. They kind of my people to go to that just kept me grounded to know you're gonna make it, you're gonna be okay. Just kind of reassuring me that this is where I was meant to be. And I use the word family again because they did become my family, and you just they just become part of your normal group of people you go see and you rely on them. Yeah, so I couldn't imagine not being part of that program when I was in college. So,
Can you talk about like a moment or a favorite event or something that really when you think about Trio SSS, it still sticks out in your mind?
Yes. Um, so I think more of a personal moment was I was back home for the summer working. I think I was going into my junior year and then kind of looking at my financial aid packet for the spring,
Mhm.
or for the fall. I just knew I still had a few $1,000s I had to come up with for the fall to cover my tuition. And I just remember calling my student support advisor at the time many, many times throughout the day, and she just walked me through the whole process, reassured me about kind of the loan options, other options, because when I was in the middle of that situation, I just was like, this is it. I'm done with college. I don't have any other options. But she definitely took the time to make me feel important and that I was going to be okay and there were options. So I think just making me feel important and heard at that moment made all the difference. Because sometimes I don't know if I didn't have that person at that time to walk me through that situation, my outcome could have been different. I could have gave up. I'm not sure, but I'm always
Yeah,
fortunate
yeah.
of the moment that I had that person to kind of just walk me through my options and my situation and kind of just reminded me like it's possible. There are ways, but just also made me feel heard and seen at that moment. So
That is wonderful. Can you talk about the like because when you entered college, the initial goal was let's aim to be a lawyer.
mhm.
Uh, did a career shift happen between your freshman and senior year where either the lawyer desire to be a lawyer either fell to the wayside or was postponed, and you decided to pursue a different type of career, or was there a career shift in between?
So I enjoyed English, and I enjoyed writing. I really got into kind of writing.
Uh-huh.
And then I graduated and I worked for an attorney that summer.
Oh wow.
So before I would have applied to law school, because I hadn't got there yet. So kind of working for an attorney that summer, it was a great experience, but it was enough to let me know this is not what I want to do. It
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it let me kind of see like I don't want to sit in a desk all day. I don't want to
Yeah.
type out papers and letters. I wanted to be help people, but it wasn't really until I had already graduated and worked for an attorney that summer that helped me see like the other side of it. So
Hmm.
yeah, so then that's when I shifted and
Oh
looked more into
wow.
kind of education, I guess. So
Yeah. Chelsea, thank you so much for sharing that because I was in like, and I'll be completely transparent. Like, I was under the assumption like a career shift happened right before you graduated and you were like, you know what, I'm
nope.
going to pursue education. But for you, it was like you were in it
Yeah.
for a little bit and you were like, this is not for me. Like
Yeah.
that's incredible because for a lot of first generation students, it's like they jump into a field and they either like it, don't like it, and then they're like in the middle of it, they might have to shift. But you were like, I graduated. I thought
Mhm.
that this is what I wanted, but what can you tell us like what inspired the change or what did you realize when did you realize like this was not the field that you wanted to be in?
I think when I realized that it was, I think when I found myself sitting in more of like, or watching the attorney I was working for at the time, just not really with people, but more doing a lot of like dictating of things he needed to type out and doing a lot of like
Oh, uh-huh.
more of not people centered, not people focused, but more of I guess the office work, which I'm not an office person. So
Oh yeah, you and I both.
yes, it kind of like I mean, it was a great experience. The people were wonderful, but it was just not. I just knew I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have been happy.
Yeah,
So, but I am glad that I was pretty able to recognize that pretty fast.
yeah.
So,
So you went from like this is more admin work, like
mhm,
typing and writing up papers, and you wanted to be a little bit more involved, as in more one-on-one with a person.
yes.
Wow. Um, can you talk about that and what helped you shaped your next move?
Um, so I worked for the attorney that summer, and then I also worked part-time in a daycare as well, still in Morgantown after I graduated. And I think it was just coming to the end of summer, coming to the end of my lease at my apartment. Um, and I think I just generally wasn't happy. I think I was homesick as well. So
Mm,
I just called my mom and I'm like, I said, I'm going to come home. I'll do whatever job is necessary. Um, I just knew it was time to come home and refocus. So
mhm.
I moved back home, got a little job, at a ski shop. Because where I'm from, we're close to a lot of ski resorts. So yeah, and then gradually got into looking into substitute teaching, and that got me more into the education part.
No, so that served as kind of like a entry point to
Yeah.
education. Um, how long were you a substitute, or how long did you do substituting for?
So I probably substituted probably 7 or 8 years. So my first after I substituted 1 year, I was fortunate enough to meet um my former assistant director at the time for Upward Bound. So my role with Upward Bound when I first started was part-time, so I was still able to substitute.
Hmm, hmm.
I met the Upward Bound employee at the time on lunch break when I was subbing, and she kind of just met me and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing this summer? I have this job you might be interested in."
Hmm, hmm.
And it was going to be a bridge coordinator for the summer Upward Bound program. So I applied, I got the position. So that was my first kind of Upward Bound experience at Davis and Elkins, was serving as the
Wow.
bridge coordinator for the summer. And then they had an open position for the fall as the academic advisor. So that kind of led me in that route.
That is amazing. So you currently serve as the academic advisor for True Upward Bound at Elkins and Davis College, which again, I must apologize because I confused WVU and Davis and Elkins. But can you talk more about your advisor position? What do you enjoy most about it? What gravitated you toward this position? Yeah, talk about that.
Um, so I think it's just, I mean, I've been here quite a while. And I've always chosen to remain in the advisor role, because it's student focused. I still get to be out with the students. And that's why I do what I do, because that impact and like that relationship it's what I thrive on, I think, because I get to see, I mean, all the other work it needs to happen and it's very important, but I guess
Absolutely.
that's just my heart, is my passion, is to being with the students, that can building that relationship, being out there with them in the schools, just seeing them develop over the years. It just That's what I thrive on. So, and I've had opportunities to apply for other roles, either within Upward Bound or other schools or other positions here at my college, and I'm very fortunate for that. Even when my mom retired, she was a director at a nonprofit, and I I thought a lot about applying for her position as well, because it's giving back to people, and
Right.
also a very huge part of me. But I think the thought of leaving my students and the thought of not being part of Trio, um, I couldn't imagine not doing Trio. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm fortunate to still be the advisor. I'm probably one of the oldest advisors I think I know of. Maybe not, but I enjoy it. I'm fortunate to still be in this role.
That's awesome. I think, as you were pointing out, there's a lot of opportunity within the TRIO programs, but also outside of TRIO within higher education, right? Where as you get more experience in the TRIO programs, your skills become valuable. People outside TRIO want to recruit you into director positions or assistant director positions because you have valuable skills. But there's that select few of TRIO staff that remain in their positions because they absolutely love what they do, and that's only a testament to your to not only to your skill but to your ability to connect with your students and your ability to bring out the best in them. Would you say that, and I can relate, you're strongly resonating with me because I'll share this quickly with you. I used to be a director for Upward Bound for two
Okay.
years, but
Yeah.
before that I was a coordinator. I
Okay.
absolutely loved being a coordinator. Director, all credit to the people who can do director because my God, the 2 years was enough for me. That was like, never want to do that again. Whoever does director, appreciate their skills and appreciate their ability, but I preferred being one-on-one with students. Was that your similar experience? Was like yes, you had all these opportunities and things available to you, but you just preferred connecting with students.
I do. Yeah, that's where I'm very big on being like feeling happy and being fulfilled and not only with students but just personally if I know if I'm not happy, I show it pretty like
Oh yeah,
I guess I'm
yeah.
very like I read myself pretty well and I have to be confident. And I think that's where I just felt more connected with the students and in the advising role um and like you said, like I've had many opportunities to apply for assistant director, assistant dean, and I have many trio people, even my director, my dean of students here at D&E has, I mean, all the time sharing opportunities, but I just, I like where I'm at. Uh, and I do live an odd life for someone my age. I still live in a dorm. I'm around kids all the time, well, students. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like right now it's what I'm good at and what I'm able to do best. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
I think that brings about a youthful and very always engaging energy. And I feel
yeah,
that from you. Like just talking in this podcast and while we were discussing like
yeah,
our like what this podcast would look like off on social media, I felt a very like you're very energetic and you're very like connected. And like again, it's really special when a person connects with their position and says, "This is where I feel like I belong right now, and this is where I'm the happiest." So
yeah.
that's amazing and kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I will say, I just recently I've served in my state as president for my state association. And this past year I've served as the president-elect for my region. So when I attended my first board meeting for our region, our national board meeting,
Mhm.
I am often one of the only board members that's an advisor. So it takes a lot of, I don't feel ashamed when I say an advisor, but I have to remember like I'm bringing a different perspective. So like directors bring
100%.
a perspective of maybe how the program flows and the grants and all the important things, but I feel like I can't forget the perspective that I can bring and share from the students. So yeah, I've had to learn to say I'm not. I used to say I'm just an advisor, and I've learned to say no, like I am the advisor, and that just the phrasing of how I would introduce myself and just like it's okay to still be an advisor, because that role is just as important as well. So
Absolutely. You're in the trenches. You're the one. I mean, and not to say the directors aren't in the trenches either. They're in a different type of
oh yeah,
trench. But
yeah,
absolutely, you bring in the perspective of the student and what they're doing and going through at the moment. And again, it's just different experiences, right? On how you absorb those experiences too. So thank you so much for sharing. I think that brings a depth and knowledge about what you do. But let's talk a little bit about your association and
okay.
what you're currently involved in. You're currently the president, correct, of your association? Sorry, go
So
ahead.
I will move into the president role in October. So yeah, so I'll come into that role in October. So officially, kind of in a transition right now. So kind of learning some of the tasks and some of the roles.
Right, right, right.
Um, but yeah, so
So you're currently serving as president-elect and then
yeah.
transitioning into president in October. Can you
Correct.
tell us a little bit about like how that happened? And yeah, because again, you're saying as an advisor, typically someone doesn't jump into a president position in your association. How did that happen for you?
So when I became president for West Virginia Trio, I was at a conference and pretty much was voluntold to run for the position, which
Voluntold. Okay.
yeah, so unfortunate. I did that. It was, I mean, I learned a lot, and I think it helped me see why the associations are important, why it's important for our regions to connect and to have that voice. So then I became part of the development committee for our region. So that put me on the board for our region. And then we were coming up almost 2 years ago to the conference when I ran for the president-elect position. So I had to get special permission from both of my bosses here, because in my role, I'm not always afforded like the travel and the time. So,
Mhm.
but I have a lot of support from both of my bosses here. I think it was just I just was like, I want to give this a go. So it kind of, yeah, I'm glad I did it. I still question. It's crazy to believe I'm in this role, but I'm glad I did it and took the chance. So,
Awesome. So how do you juggle working both between trio and also being an associate, your organization's president-elect slash president?
um, so it takes a lot of organization. So
Mhm.
I'm very detailed in my planning. I try to communicate with my residents, my students, my boss, my family. Because there's a lot of traveling, there's a lot of planning. And it takes a lot of kind of discipline to work ahead. So my students know when I'm not there, my school advisors. Um, but I also am fortunate I have, I guess, just a large people around me too that believe in what I do and believe in the work and like believe it's important that we
Mhm.
are representing Trio and advocating. Because also in the balance of Upward Bound and the association role, I serve as a resident director at my college too. Um,
Oh, wow.
so
Yeah.
it's a lot of I just have a lot of support and a lot of people that have willing to step in and help me when I need that extra hand or opportunity. So if I didn't have that support from others, I don't think I would have this chance. So,
In your learning period as a president-elect, can you give us a highlight or something that you really learned about yourself during that time?
trying to think. So I think I wouldn't say just one certain thing, but I would think it's just I at our past conference, we had our conference in February, and
Mhm.
that's when I was kind of I wasn't initiated as president, but kind of our ceremony, to kind of just say I'm the next president and kind of have the formal part of it. Um, I think just and when you're standing there in front of your association in the region that you're about to serve, I think it was just no one doubted me. I still was doubting my ability to kind of fulfill the role, but
Mhm.
no one doubted me. Everyone kind of would come up and say, "I think you're going to do really good. I'm glad you took on this role," or "Thank you for taking on this role." Um, but also, I had a lot of people who came up to me and they're like, "If you need help, this is what I'm good at." So I think it helped me to kind of show others that either are my age or younger, or maybe in the advisor role, that they have a voice and they also belong in leadership roles. A leader doesn't look the same. A leader doesn't have a certain stereotype. We're all meant to be a leader in some way, and we all have something to bring. So I think it's just constantly reminding myself that I I may not be the person to share what's needed, but I can find the people that can help or fit the role. Um, but also know there's others looking up to me to be like, hey, she did this, so I can as well. And I have a lot of people that have stepped into this role, and I've looked at them and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. So I think just that representation and showing up and that extra confidence in yourself goes a long way because it's modeling. So
Absolutely.
um, yeah. So I was even telling my students in Upward Bound this summer, I was telling them about this opportunity and just kind of just sharing with them like this is something you could do one day as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm going to backpedal just a little bit to go over one question because I think I skipped it, but I wanted to ask about your master's program in too, because you went into marketing to study for
Yes.
that. What inspired that? And was it difficult to complete the program, or did you find it similar to the undergraduate experience?
So I actually did that program. It was all online. So it was through WVU.
Hmm.
Um, I actually a friend at the time was worked for that marketing program in particular as the director of um admission. So I had a support system and it just kind of seemed interesting at the time.
Okay, that's
So I
awesome.
don't know. I mean, I've learned some skills from it. I don't know if it I don't know. I'm sure there's things from that degree that will help me, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was just kind of here's this opportunity. I can do it really quick. I enjoyed it, but yeah, it was a good experience, but
Yeah.
also it kind of proved myself too. I could get a master's, and it was kind of easier said, not easy, but just kind of felt harder than what it was. So,
Yeah. Right on. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, so we are connected via social media, and I enjoy seeing your pics and your updates and the things that you post. As you're posting these things and you're looking back at your professional and your personal life, how do you find like striking a balance of the travel that you do and the energy that you put into your job? Like, how do you find a balance to all that?
um, actually, I'm not really sure. I mean, I live where I work. So I live at my college campus. So I work in res life. My upward bound students that are in my upward bound program this summer are actually in the dorm where I live.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I guess I'm odd because I do take time away. I go see my family. I just thrive on that connection, I guess. But I don't know. That's always been like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm working all the time. I guess I just really enjoy what I do, and I just kind of feel like it's family. And I'm not sure I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this kind of like environment or space that I live in and got to be around them all the time. So,
Absolutely. I think people are envious of being able to hit that sweet spot of uh, work doesn't feel like work because it feels like I'm there with a purpose.
yeah. I mean, it really doesn't feel like work. It just feels like something that I'm helping or I get to do, I guess. And it's important work and I truly believe in it. And so I don't know. I think that's why I always feel like I give it 110% and I may not I truly believe I do give it 110%. It may not always be my best, but I do think that others would see that I'm passionate and I'm committed and always out there to try to give my best. So it's I know I'm just an oddball, but I guess I have found the sweet spot in both my profession and my personal life, and I think it just comes to you from like people and family that believe in what I do, believe in Trio. They support me, so I've been very fortunate to have a strong support system.
That's awesome.
So
And speaking
yeah.
of Trio, being a Trio alum, as you know, has its own responsibilities, especially now. In the past, a simple social media post that said Trio works to draw our friends' attention, our colleagues' attention to about the things that we care about. It was all about engagement. But now, the current political climate, things have drastically changed for Trio. And while I do think that advocacy for our programs as alumni is super important, and we do need to fight for Trio, what is something that Trio alumni can do now to fight for Trio programs in this current climate?
I think they would continue to share their personal stories of just go connect within their community. So connect back in the community that they came from. So whether they're high school, they're congressional members that serve their areas, just kind of sharing the challenges that they had and the impact their program made for them. And then, I mean, yeah, we use the phrase "trio works," and it's catchy, but I think it's going deeper to say how did it work? Like, what did it do for you? I mean, we say this all the time when we talk amongst other like state leaders or region leaders. Congressional members, they don't want to yes, they appreciate us, they'll chat with us, but they want to see the students, they want to see the product of the program.
Mm.
That's where they connect, that's where they see that our program works. So I think just being open, being passionate about where you came from, maybe if willing, sharing personal struggles, personal family things of what it was like to be first in for low income and just sharing where they're at today. And sometimes it's not just an impact on them, it's an impact on their family. It's a generational impact of, hey, I'm the first in my family, but look, I have siblings that went to college. I've helped my mother go back to college. So I think it's just not being afraid to make it personable. Because I think that's when you really show people that it's a real impact on you as well. It's not just a program, it's here's the actual work, the product. This is what it did for me. So,
Huh. Well said. Did you ever envision yourself in this current position or taking the lead in advocating for TRIO programs?
no. Um, I mean, I think it's something as a stepping into a president role for a region, I think it's something I've always looked at and been like, wonder how I got there, or that would be fun. But I never imagined myself coming into this leadership position under our current administration. And I mean that more of the challenges that Trio is currently facing. And that's so I do, and that's where it's important for me to connect with others around me and just encouraging others to kind of be in their place where I'm not the best, but here's this person that can help me along the way. Yeah, so I never imagined myself going into leadership during this challenging time. It's kind of scary. But again, I ask a lot of questions. I've unfortunately had to sit with sit with a director a few weeks ago and about her program that was defunded, and
Mm,
just that made it real. And so it's kind of pushed me even further to learn more, to advocate, to call my congressional members, to keep posting, to keep sharing, because when you speak with someone, a director that had to let her students know a week before their summer program of, hey, we can't do this, like that's it,
so-
it hit told. So it's
absolutely.
yeah. So I know it's hard work, but it's important work.
Well, gosh, like I remember reading the news about the defunded programs, but
Mhm.
getting to hear from you about that you spoke to somebody or to the
Yes.
director of the program that they had to inform this, that is so crushing. And wow, the realities that Trio is currently facing.
Yes. Well, and yeah, so it's and every day it's just kind of like it, just kind of watching and waiting to hear and just hoping for the best. But I think also as a trio, we kind of shift and we don't see it as like, oh no, this is happening. It's like, okay, this is then what's our next approach? What else do we
Mhm.
have to do? How else can we collect and kind of move forward? So
Absolutely. What is something that you hope to accomplish during your tenure with your professional association?
um that's a good question. I think to encourage I think to encourage younger staff to even maybe to other people in trio to step up to the plate to serve. I think a lot of times in associations, you have the same group of people that serve, or they're president or treasurer, and they hold these roles.
Mhm.
Um, and I think a lot of younger students, not students, a lot of younger employees or younger people coming into the role are afraid to step into these service roles. But I think that's my goal is to try to encourage them to kind of take the lead, that they're part of, they're just as important, they have a voice. So I think just showing others that, yeah, you can do it as well.
What do you see yourself doing 5 to 10 years from now?
Um, so I don't know, maybe 5 years out, maybe the same, still being part of Upward Bound, a Hope or a Trio program. Um, I'm not sure 10 years down the road if I still want to be living in a dorm. But I value the work. I don't know. I hope to still be serving in some capacity. I'll just say I want to be with Trio. So whether that's
I love that.
me taking a step one day to be a director or serving in another program, or if it's still me being in this current role, like I just know Trio is important to me, and I just want to be a Trio. I want to be part of Trio. So
That's awesome. I love that. What advice would you give to Trio professionals? Let's say you had all the Trio professionals across the country in one room, or in a conference room, or in a stadium. What would you say to them, or what's advice that you would share with them?
um also a very tough question. just to keep going. I think
Oh, I love that.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, just to keep going to, I guess sometimes at the moment it's hard, but your work matters and it makes a difference. And that I know sometimes in these roles you don't feel seen and you just kind of feel like you're just always giving and giving and giving, but just to know that to keep going, the work matters, and to know that sometimes like we don't, they're appreciated. I think deep down our students appreciate what we do, and I think we don't always see it or we may not always hear it until down the road, but I I think that just knowing that they're appreciated, the work matters, and just to keep going. So
That's great advice, I think, to just to be able to keep going, keep doing the work.
yes,
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to flip the script a little bit and ask, what advice do you have for trio participants?
I think kind of the same. Just keep going, but also don't get stuck in a hard place.
Hmm.
Like when you're going through a hard challenge, I think I always try to tell my students it's part of your next step. So when you're at a hard point in your life where you're questioning something or something's difficult or you don't understand, just it's gonna get you to the next point of where you should be. You may not
Absolutely.
see it at the time, but it down the road you're gonna say, hey, that taught me something that helped put me in the position or path that I was meant to be in. So I think sometimes they may not see the future now, but they just have to believe in the process and believe in themselves, and that just, yeah, stick it out because it will work out. Oddly enough, it does work out.
That's
They
awesome.
just have to stay the course.
Absolutely. What is something that you're currently reading, watching, or listening to?
So don't I haven't read for a while. So, well, the last novel I was reading was The White Castle. So we were reading that as part of our summer um class for our students. So I've started reading some of that. I don't I kind of just have the TV on for background noise. I don't
Mhm.
really sit still long enough for TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I do listen to a lot of music though. So I listen to a lot of like um I kind of listen to a lot of a mixture of kind of I go back and forth from like Christian to Celtic to rock and roll to I don't know. I kind of like everything. Just something with a good beat, something that makes you feel good. So,
right on. Is there a particular artist that you like would say if people wanted to put on some nice music in the background or wanted to just listen to, is there a particular artist you would say, here's who I would recommend?
oh yeah. So they're kind of a Christian pop band, not pop, maybe kind of rock. And they play a lot of kind of bluegrass, kind of Celtic music. So there's
Interesting.
the name of the band is Third Day. So they're not too famous, but they're just yeah. I just like a lot of their songs are really inspiring, motivational, but they have a good beat to them, so I like them. Yeah, so that's usually my go-to.
Right on. What is one word you would use to describe yourself?
Persistent.
Persistent. I like
Yeah.
that. Well, Chelsey, it has been a true pleasure and an honor to have you on this podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of your time to talk about Trio, to talk about your experience and your journey. So yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, and it's been good to kind of reflect on my past and kind of my journey with Trio. So thank you.
Absolutely. So we have a tradition on the Let's Talk Trio podcast where we have the guests do the sign off. Do you care to do the honors?
Sure, I can do that. Hi, this is Chelsey Toms, and I'm an academic advisor for the Trio Upward Bound program at Davis and Elkins College, and I serve as the president-elect for the MEAOPP Association, which is the Mid-Eastern Association of Educational Opportunity Personnel, and I'm a proud Trio alum. Trio works.
Are you a participant, alum, or staff of a Trio program? Do you want your program highlighted? You or your program could be featured in an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Trio. Get a hold of us by going to our Facebook page or Instagram and send us a direct message. Search for Let's Talk Trio. We want to get your story to the public.
You just heard from our guest, Chelsey Toms, TRIO alum and current academic advisor for the TRIO Upward Bound program at Davis and Elkins College in West Virginia. Thank you, Chelsey, for being on the podcast and for sharing your TRIO journey. Remember, if you would like to be on the Let's Talk TRIO podcast or know a staff, advocate, participant, or alumni, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. Once again, a heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Villalpando, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jeff Napudi, Angelica Valdez, Rosario Riley, Felicia Rivera, Eric Lamaster, Jeff Calden, and Jaded Electronics. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, Nosotros Education Center, Longsdale Publishing, Student Access, and The Trio Store, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for TRIO graduation stoles. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can sponsor the Let's Talk TRIO podcast in one of three ways. Become a monthly patron on Patreon. Our base level starts at $1 a month. Become a corporate sponsor by placing an ad on the podcast. Contact us for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast business PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. I'd like to take a moment to thank our honorary members of the Let's Talk TRIO podcast, Roderick Chambers, Tony Ho, Scott Kendall, and Susan Cramp. The Let's Talk TRIO podcast team is John Russell, audio engineer, music producer and composer, and post-production editor. Amelia Castañeda, script supervisor, marketing manager, social media manager, and producer. Juan Rivas, executive producer and host. Be sure to follow the Let's Talk TRIO podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This episode was recorded Monday, June 30th, 2025. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.